the first big, deep drama of 2024 has wrapped up. A little behind schedule. Normally, we're on a 3-month rotation. It takes about 90 days for the mods to do something so idiotic that it causes, like, general uproar in the community. But we made it pretty far this time, and it has now concluded with Sanquo losing his CC role. I don't think he was banned from the game. He might have been. I know, like, Aga was talking about it on stream, so I'm not 100% sure if he got a game ban. What I do know is that he did lose CC role. That is because he uploaded a clip comp. Nothing out of the ordinary, but the title and thumbnail were referencing Hitler, which, for obvious reasons, the mods did not take to that. I've seen a lot of people asking, like, why does it matter? Like, there's a bunch of evil people. What if I made a thumbnail with Stalin? Or what if I made a thumbnail referencing Genghis Khan? It's, crack my knuckles here. Put my college education to use. You have a fundamental misunderstanding of the Nazi regime and history in general. Racial superiority, racial biases, racism, as we know it societally now, really didn't exist until colonialism. Like, Genghis Khan didn't conquer Eurasia because he thought the Mongols were the superior race. It was religiously driven. You know, the Romans didn't go to war with the Ottomans because, you know, they thought that Europeans were the superior race. Those kind of mindsets didn't exist in the ancient world. In terms of Stalin, like, the USSR's armies, the USSR's history of conquest, essentially post-World War II, wasn't racially motivated. That was out of self-preservation. In contrast, when you look at the Nazi regime and fascism in general, those are always marked keenly by a feeling of nationalism, by racial, religious, or ethnic superiority, which is why it's completely different. On top of that, it's very recent history. Like, a lot of people I've seen brought up the Genghis Khan shit. That was literally hundreds of years ago, man. There's still people alive today who not only were affected by the Holocaust, people who carried out the Holocaust are still alive today. Very few of them, like, it's been some time, but that's very recent history. It is very, very recent history. Depending on how old you are, your grandparents could have been involved in such a thing. So that's the difference. Another key thing that made it a little hotter than it had to be is legit the video just prior to the Adolf Hitler reference in the thumbnail was straight up Sharko NFC, which Sanquo conveniently left out of his video portion about his thumbnails, and now he's also taken down the thumbnail because that kind of blows a massive hole in his whole argument that he didn't do anything wrong. They did give him, like, the opportunity to change it. Like, they gave him a couple hours to fix things up. They did ego him. Like, the mod that, like, told him to change it, it was low-key weird as fuck the way they phrased it. But they did say, like, yo, a couple hours to change it. The video's fine, just can't have that thumbnail or title. And then Sanquo went in CC chat and essentially just trolled them and said, I'm gonna make money no matter what. You're bagophobic, you're weird, I don't care. So, yeah, this one's pretty cut and dry. You kind of can't be showing, like, Nazi shit like that. As a European, Sanquo himself, I'm sure he knows, like, any reference to the Nazi regime is, like, strictly banned in Germany. Even in the United States or the United Kingdom, like, you can very quickly catch a hate charge, like a hate crime charge, just for brandishing that kind of thing or saying the wrong thing. Like, that is very recent, very, like, hurtful stuff. He didn't glorify him in any way, but you can't, like, you just can't show that shit regardless. It's not... You can argue whether or not that's right or wrong. That's just the rule. That's the staff's rules. And it's not like that. It's weird of them to act that way. That's like YouTube's rules. That's Google's rules. Like that. That's just the way of the world. You just don't fucking show that shit. Especially in a community that's mostly populated by kids. Who, I'm not saying don't know better, but we've all been kids before. The older ones of us in the community know what, like, if you create this precedent where, like, you're making Nazi references or Nazi jokes, I give you maybe a few weeks tops before that's, like, the next big joke, and we have shit like last year where people cosplay as the KKK. Like, they're kids. They're idiots. If you give them an inch, they're gonna take a mile. If you start making Nazi references and it goes unchecked, I legitimately promise you there is going to be people cosplaying Nazis in the game. That's what they did with the fucking KKK shit last year. That's what they do when you see those racist names pop up. Like, you just kind of had to shut that shit down. Could have been handled better from the mods. They were low-key being weird as fuck. They like 5v1 tried to pack him in the CC server. It's damn.